Rod, if you're free, I have an extra ticket to the Warriors and Oil Kings game in Moose Jaw tonight if you want to join me. I would love to, but I can't. To quote Sammy Seafood Sam, I'm busy.
How about that?
Where's Seafood Sam? Moved to Calgary. He's busy.
Yeah.
But thank you, Glenn.
Muna.
Big shots.
Sitting they're up there with the Russian national coach at the press conference.
Guy ran a seafood restaurant in Saskatoon, okay? His name was Seafood Sam. That was the name of the restaurant, and the Saskatoon Blades would bring him down to coach the All-Star or the intra-squad game, and he'd start brawls. And
I remember hearing the story about Daryl Lubanicki. They told the guys no more fights. And so all of a sudden there's a fight, and then they drop the puck, and then there's another fight, and there's another.
He's coaching the intra-squad
game. One
kid
had fought 3 times, so Daryl Lubanicki said, I'm going to put an end to this. And he walks around the rink, and he comes over to the kid who's had 3 fights, and he says, what is going on around here? And the kid says, that Chinese guy keeps sending me out to beat out of that. So he had to go to this Seafood Sam, who was this little 5'2" Chinese fellow who owned their local restaurant.
Seafood Sam's.
And tell him to knock it off.
No more fights.
How about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
This former producer of major market television shows writing into us anonymously to say he just found our show on Game Plus Television. Here's some tips. The show has ADD. It's all over the place. Your sound effects are annoying. And your host is arrogant. Right on all counts. But that's what we want. That's what we wanted it to be.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
You're going to have to get up earlier in the day if you think you're going to hurt my feelings calling me arrogant. Welcome, everybody, to Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network across Canada, 31 U.S. states, and on the radio down there in Atlanta, WQEE, and, of course, streaming on YouTube. The Moose remains on holidays, but I can confirm on vacation he's out of Bali, Indonesia. He's now in Palm Springs, California, probably watching the show today. No Moose. So we bring in a bevy of co-hosts this week, including our good friend, Canada's foremost NFL expert, Jim Clubber-Lang, longtime friend. Jim, I'm just going to hang on. I'm going to tell the people who the guests are today. Baseball pro veteran and the founder of Alitura Skincare, Andy Nilo, Soldier of Love, is going to be with us later on in Hour 1. And in Hour 2, Demetrius Maxey, the defensive line coach of the Toronto Argonauts. Yeah. Oh, you know Delirious Max? You know D-Max?
Pound for pound, one of the strongest human beings I ever met. I was covering the Argos a lot when he played for the Argos, and a lot of his teammates and opposing players said he was freakishly strong and a wonderful, nice man.
Just the greatest guy. D-Max is going to be with us in Hour 2. Along the way, NHL was called this opening week has been called Chaos. This morning I heard that from Don Granato, the former Sabres coach. We're going to get into that. Major League Baseball playoffs, CFL Week 19 recap. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll go from there. Producer Clark's in Southern California, too. So Tuna Turner is producing the show today. Tuna Turner, what's love got to do with it? We've got breaking news from the NFL. Jimbo, Aaron Rodgers, and Davante Adams are finally reunited after a year of speculation, and now they'll try to save the New York Jets season. It's official. The Jets agreed to terms this morning to acquire the disgruntled Adams from the Las Vegas Raiders. The Jets are sending a conditional 3rd-round pick in next year's draft, and that could become a 2nd-rounder, but it is pending a physical for the wide receivers. So we saw it last night on Monday Night Football. Jets lost again, 23-20 to the Bills. They got Davante Adams. Is it going to make a difference, Jim?
It will make a difference because Davante Adams is an elite level, A-list wide receiver in the NFL. And for 4 years, the last 4 years he was in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams were almost unstoppable. They were that good together. And Aaron Rodgers has hinted at this a few times. They had their bread and butter in Green Bay was something called the back shoulder throw. And Aaron Rodgers didn't even have to tell Davante Adams what to do. Davante knew where to be and what to do along the sideline, and they ate up opposing defenses with the back shoulder throw. He hasn't been able to develop that with his receivers with the New York Jets. That will help. It would help even more if they had Hassan Reddick rushing the quarterback on defense. And Hassan Reddick and his agent have gotten permission to request a trade. They've already had a coaching change in New York. Yes, it will help, but it's still a dysfunctional team right now. And whether or not it's enough to put them into the playoff position, that remains to be seen.
I'll tell you what, Jim, I asked our audience to, if they had any questions for you, to fire them at my way. So
yes,
Darshan in Vancouver's watching, and he says the Jets can't pass protect, stop the run, and have an extreme lack of discipline. How do they justify acquiring a high-priced wide receiver when they have glaring holes elsewhere? That's from Darshan in Vancouver.
Well, Darshan, great question. And that's the influence of Aaron Rodgers with the owner, Woody Johnson. And that brings into question who was calling the shots in New York. Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it the owner, Woody Johnson? Is it GM? Is it the interim head coach? Where are all these decisions being made? Because to any and all who would listen, Aaron Rodgers said that he had nothing to do with the firing of Robert Saleh, didn't know it was happening. He was just as surprised as anyone else. I take that comment with a grain of salt. I'm not sure he didn't know. I find it hard to believe he didn't know the day out that Woody Johnson wouldn't have texted him that we've made a coaching change, that he didn't find out with everyone else. So that is part of the problem. Winning teams win consistently for a reason. The owners own, the GMs, the coaches coach and do their things. Look at the Detroit Lions. They finally figured it out. The owners are letting the GM and the coaching staff and the players do their thing. And the results are they are one of the elite teams in the NFL right now after years of being a laughingstock. And this does help a little bit. But Jets fans are fooling themselves if they think it's going to put them over the top. They are not good enough to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs or the elite teams or the Baltimore Ravens. They are not.
We're all assuming this is going to work in New York. We know that it's not because it's New York. And my good friend, we're going to jump into NHL here right away, Jim, and then come back to NFL in a second, maybe dabble a little bit in CFL. But my guy Zig Fracassi from NFL Radio is encouraging all Cowboys fans to stop cheering for the Cowboys as long as nothing changes there. And I know exactly what he means, for Jerry Jones to sell the team or step down in his role as general manager. And I said, that's never going to happen. I'm not upset that the Cowboys absorbed their worst defeat in the Jerry Jones era Sunday to the Lions because they didn't expect anything else. I have very low expectations. So, yeah, I'm not jumping off the Dallas Cowboys bandwagon. It looks like you want to say something on that before we move on.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones deserves the heat, and the Cowboys do. They had a chance to get Derrick Henry this offseason, and Jerry Jones, who calls the shots, it's his checkbook, decided he wasn't worth the effort. And I look at the impact that Derrick Henry's having with the Baltimore Ravens, and it was brought up by Bill Belichick in one of his discussions a couple of weeks ago. How do you defend the Ravens? If you put 8 in the box to stop Derrick Henry, they got Zay Flowers, who's a speed burner, and they've got fast receivers. They're going to burn you with the pass. If you try to cover them, and there is not enough people to stop Derrick Henry, by the fourth quarter, there's a lot of DBs who are making business decisions. And what he's done the last 5 weeks, 4 weeks especially, is nothing short of phenomenal. And I look at the Dallas Cowboys. Now they have to go on the road after their bye week at San Francisco, which is a notoriously tough place to play. Then they have to play Atlanta. And Atlanta has been quietly putting together a good team. Kirk Cousins' Achilles is getting healthy. They can run the ball. That is not a pushover. Then they have to play the Eagles. Then they have to play Houston. So that's 4 killer games for the Cowboys coming off the bye. And so if you're a Cowboys nation, you have to be a little concerned because all of a sudden you're into a buzzsaw coming off the bye week.
Every week's a buzzsaw for the Dallas Cowboys, Jim. Listen, we'll come back on this. I knew you were dying to talk about that, so we'll get to that. But we're going to move on to point 2. We'll come back to the NFL. We're on the air in Canada, Game Plus TV, hockey's #1. The Edmonton Oilers look to pick up their first win of the NHL season tonight when they host the Philadelphia Flyers. Edmonton has been outscored 15-3 in 3 straight losses at home. I saw a quote from their coach, Chris Knobloch, that said, from Imperial Sask, glad you asked. He said there's a frustration level there that's high, but not like it was last November when he walked into the dressing room after the firing of Jay Woodcroft. They will figure it out. The poll question today is, what should the panic level be for the 0-3 Edmonton Oilers? Above average, average, or not at all? And in a tie are B and C, average or not at all for the Edmonton Oilers. But they got Philly in there tonight. Elsewhere, the Vancouver Canucks visit the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Calgary Flames are home to the Chicago Blackhawks. Jim, I see the Leafs lead the Atlantic Division. How excited are people around there?
I think they're very excited. And, Steve Simmons, love him or hate him, he has been one of the top sports columnists in the Toronto area for 4 decades. And he wrote an interesting column today saying that Craig Berube may be the next Pat Burns for the Maple Leafs, and that he's a demanding coach who expects certain things and has a ring in his finger. And even when Pat Burns, he didn't get his Stanley Cup ring till after he left Toronto. So here's Craig Berube basically saying this is how things are going to get done, and they will get done. And he's not shy about saying that's not good enough or he didn't like that. And I don't think the Chief has ever been shy about expressing his feelings, ever. And he comes in with a little pedigree and the muscle of Treliving and Shanahan behind him. But I just want to touch on the Oilers. My level of panic is between average and not at all. And all anyone has to do is look at the Amazon Prime series of what happened in the dressing room after that 7th game. You can't go through something like that and not have a bit of an emotional hangover. They had their guts ripped out of them losing that 7th game of the Stanley Cup final. And all the platitudes in the offseason and working out and motivational slogans in the wall of the dressing room, that is going to take a while to erase the pain of the memory of that. Now, I look at the Florida Panthers, how they start the season, looking pretty good. I look at the Vegas Golden Knights starting the season, they're looking really, really good. Edmonton will be all right. They've got too much talent. But it's to be expected that they would start a little like this after what happened, and they will get going. And by November, I think they're going to be rolling. They're going to be fine. But, I mean, it was like every player in that dressing room had their puppy taken from them. And I mean, that's hard to get over. It is hard. And it's not like you can flip a switch and say it's a regular season, let's forget about it. I don't think it's that easy. So they'll turn it around and they'll be fine. By mid-November, they'll be rolling and scoring goals in bunches, and this will be forgotten. But it's not a total shock that this has happened, Rod.
Yeah, no, not at all. And, here in South Florida, Paul Maurice talked about we don't believe in Stanley Cup hangovers, and they came out and just completely toyed with the Boston Bruins in the home opener, beat them yesterday, 4-3 was the final, but they controlled the whole game. The Panthers have it in hand. They don't have that gnawing hunger in them like the Oilers will have. So, and I'm not sure the Oilers will ever get over it, but if they use it as motivation all season, great. It's the first week. It's the first week.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm giggling at this Craig Berube, Pat Burns thing. I mean, it's been a week, Jim.
Yes, you understand. This is the Leaf Nation in Southern Ontario. We're known to blow things out of proportion, both positively and negatively from time to time. So, yeah, you shouldn't be shocked at a column like that, Rod.
No, I'm not. And believe me, I love Steve Simmons. He's so entertaining. Like you say, he's very good at what he does.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Right, personally and professionally. But the Toronto media that gets the bad rap, he leads that parade. I'll say for myself. I won't ask you to agree or disagree on that. John Ohm writes in, he says, the Edmonton Oilers are up to their old tricks, suck at the start of the season and bring it on later to almost win a Stanley Cup. Randy from Winnipeg writes in, he says, Edmonton, Colorado, both 0-3. When does a new goalie talk start? The Avalanche have already brought in a goalie. Bomber Boy says Aaron Rodgers trying to be the first quarterback, head coach, GM in NFL history. Jets won't make the playoffs. Go Packers. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it Good morning, people. It's the morning of Pepto-Bismol and turkey farts for Canadians. So keep your distance from Jeff, the Stamps fan. I do have to say this about the Calgary Flames, Jim. They are 3-0. Let's just look around the league for a second. I mean, here's what I said in my weekend column at rodpeterson.com. Jets, Winnipeg Jets 3-0. Calgary Flames 3-0. For those teams that are undefeated, Utah was 3-0 till they lost in New Jersey yesterday. I enjoy the exuberance of their fans. It's far better than the fire this guy, cut that guy that you're hearing in the 0-3 markets. Not in Edmonton. Nobody's really concerned. But as far as the Flames go, enjoy it. I don't think it's going to last, but enjoy it. 3-0 is 3-0.
I think the Winnipeg Jets are the quietest 3-0 team in hockey. No one's talking about them. I think that that's a good hockey team with good goaltending. They don't have to worry about goaltending there. Dallas is undefeated. And, because of he was just here, a lot of people in Southern Ontario are keeping an eye on Sheldon Keefe and the Devils. And they're 4-1, and they've got a 2-game winning streak. And, that is something that a lot of Leafs Nation fans wonder, could that possibly be a matchup down the road, a Leafs Devils playoff series? And a lot of Leafs fans would think that would be kind of cool.
Kirk in Toronto writes in. He's watching on Game Plus TV. He says, hi, Rod. How about those Cowboys? They got motorboated again in Big D by a motivated Lions team. He says, that's a term that I invented for getting killed rather than speedboated, and people kind of enjoy
Isn't that trademarked by you, Rod?
No, it's trademarked by Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers.
Yes, that's right.
Right. He says, how about that? That Argo defense with another 7-sack performance for a big win against the Bombers. It's funny. It just slipped off the page. Jim Young, the Hall of Fame BC Lions receiver, watches this show, and he writes in, and I just got his picks. I just got him this morning for last week. He thought Winnipeg was going to spank the Argos. It didn't happen. 14-11 win for Toronto. They went into Winnipeg, snapped the Bombers' win streak. Let me say this before we break. How much are you following the CFL right now? You worked in the league with the Argos, covered it for years. It's pretty exciting. This is the best time of year, obviously. We're on the cusp of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's nice to see Dirty 30 still chiming in with his picks. But not as much as I would like to. I got a lot of other stuff going on. But I am aware that the Argos are, making a push. But the Alouettes, my goodness, they're so good. The Montreal Alouettes are such a good team. And, last year was no fluke. That's the thing that I think people have to realize. It's in any level of sports, in any league, putting 2 years together, that quality is tough. And I'm not sure anyone beats the Alouettes again.
No, they beat Ottawa in almost a must-win game for Ottawa if they wanted to finish second. Montreal beat him yesterday with a backup quarterback. So what does that say? Just to finish Dirty 30's comment here, he goes, glad you're safe. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, a lot of people writing us about Hurricane Milton here, but it missed us by a whisker. And we're very, very, very fortunate and blessed. We'll continue, everybody, when we come back. More NHL, NFL, CFL, and we got to dabble in baseball playoffs, if you're so inclined. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, live streaming on YouTube, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
RP Show, Hour 1, brought to you by Culligan. Drink clean, live green. Filter your water for a healthier tomorrow. Culligan Water of Regina. Visit culliganregina.com. They're very excited in the Queen City over their Rough Riders, winners of 4 in a row. Chance to finish first in the West. They should be. There will be a lot of CFL talk coming up in Hour 2. It's going to be just me, along with Demetrius Maxey for a segment in Hour 2. But Jim Lang's with us, Canada's foremost NFL expert. Just reading from the audience, this is the most interactive show on television, radio, and streaming. Mark in Melfort writes in and he says, would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in Jerry Jones' suite after his Cowboys got motorboated. Kevin in Calgary writes in, he says, good morning, RP peeps. Good morning, Kevin the medium. He's the biggest BC Lions fan that I know, and I'm happy that he showed his face here this morning. I didn't know how many of them would. Ryan in upstate New York, Cardinal Ryan writes in, he says, I don't know which team was less disciplined yesterday, the Ottawa Red Blacks or the New York Jets. Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he says, it's opening week for the NHL. Good to see Talbot doing well. Edvinson and Johansson are going to be stud D for the Wings. Youth movement coming. Be patient, Wings fans. So that's what some of the audience is saying so far, Jim. And I got one for you. Nobody ever lets me ask my questions. It's always the viewer.
You ask whatever you want. It's your show.
That's a good point. Good point. Thank you. Thank you for the go-ahead. I know you're a Raiders fan. At least the last I checked. Are you still?
Yeah, they're breaking my heart a lot, but I guess technically I still am. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have this written down. NFL questions. Tom Brady. He's going to get an ownership slice of the Raiders, yet continue to be the #1 color analyst on Fox television. I don't have a problem with it. But do you see it as a potential conflict of interest? Some do. And I think they're like looking the other way from some league bylaws to allow this to happen is the sense I get. What do you think?
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, when you say a minority stake in the big picture, when you consider the value of a professional sports team, especially the NFL, it is quite a minority stake. If it was where he's like 25% ownership and he's making decisions in the team, then I don't think he's morally should have the right to be a color analyst in the NFL. If at the same time he is making decisions like that, personnel decisions, if you're a silent owner, you'll have a financial stake, but you're not making any decisions. You're not deciding who gets traded, drafted, fired, and hired. Then I don't think it's a problem. Now, once he gets involved in decision making, that changes everything. And I don't think he can be a lead analyst for Fox anymore.
I think they'll let
either you
him do
want to be an owner or you
he's...
want to be a broadcaster. You can't be both.
But not everybody's Tom Brady. And that's why I think that they'll allow him to do whatever he wants. I mean, nobody's bigger than the league. I understand that. But I kind of sit here, Jim, and say, how much influence can a broadcaster have in terms of being a conflict of interest? Well, he can say nice things about the Raiders on the air, whatever. Because, for years, you were a play-by-play guy. I was a play-by-play guy for decades. And coaches would come at me and give me hell for something I'd said as if it caused them to have a losing season or lose a game. And I said, listen, the minute you come give me credit for a win, I'll take the blame when you lose. They never brought it up again. So, again, I don't think he can have a whole lot of influence as a broadcaster. Do you?
Well, no, not as a broadcaster, but away from the broadcast booth, if you're...
Oh, that's him getting choppy, not me? Okay. Oh, so what Jim's saying is that Jordan says they're going to work to get him back. He just said away from the booth. These are the conversations that the executives don't understand that go on. It's that we do, as broadcasters, talk to the players, talk to the coaches away from the stadium. Some of them think that doesn't happen. Well, that changes everything, doesn't it? And Jim was just going down a road that I was hanging on every word. I was trying to play along and say, we broadcasters. Okay, Jim, listen, I'm hanging on your every word. You said away from the booth, ...
If Mark Davis easily can be influenced by someone like Tom Brady. If Tom Brady went to Mark Davis, who is not an alpha male personality, and said, we need to trade for Rod Pedersen, we need to sign Rod Pedersen, we need to hire Rod Pedersen, Mark Davis in all likelihood would do it. That's where he can have his influence. Like he because he's Tom Brady, because of who he is, if he goes to Mark Davis and say, this is the best thing for the team I'm now a minority owner for, Mark Davis is likely going to order all his personnel people, management, and coaches to do it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you don't think owners get tidbits like that from people all the time? Whether it's the broadcaster or minority owners? Gee, just because he offers it doesn't mean they need to do it. Utah Darren writes in, he says, will Davante Adams help the Jets or just add to the circus atmosphere of the organization? Utah Darren, we opened the show with that, so you might want to hit rewind. David in Winnipeg writes in, David number 1, he says, good morning, Rod. Happy the Winnipeg Jets are 3-0, first time since relocation. I did not know that. Yeah, it's their longest season. They're one win away from their longest season opening win streak of all time. We talked about that. I have a quote from Jim written down that says the Winnipeg Jets are the quietest 3-0 team in history. So, guys, show up on time. Coffee starts at 10 a.m. Mountain. We're moving on. PJ in Edmonton writes in, he says, so many times the Green Bay Packers couldn't pass protect, play defense, and those two guys borderline single-handedly got them deep. He's talking about Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. It was a regular occurrence. They needed to make the move, plug the other holes with mercenaries. So, yeah, it's unfortunate we're having connection issues with Jim today because he brings the heat. He's Canada's foremost NFL expert, and he can answer all of your questions. It's a great time to have him on. You guys let me know when we have him back. And, we got him back? Okay. What's the last thing you heard, Jim? What's the last thing you heard?
You were talking about the Winnipeg Jets, the quietest team, 3-0.
Ah, right. I said we covered that already, guys. We're not going back.
Yes.
We covered. What do you think? We 1,356 shows, and people think we didn't open with the biggest news in the NFL and the NHL. Okay, you wanted me to dabble into baseball, so point 4 here. The quick 6 show topics. Juan Soto homered during New York's 3-run third inning. Carlos Rodon got his first postseason win, and the Yankees took advantage of Cleveland's wildness in a 5-2 victory in Game 1 of the best-of-7 American League Championship Series on Monday. And Francesco Lindor and Mark Vientos homered as the New York Mets stopped the LA Dodgers' record-tying postseason scoreless streak in a 7-3 win on Monday, tying the best-of-7 NLCS at a game each. Just one of those series continues tonight, 7:38 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians at the New York Yankees. As I just said, New York is up 1-0 in that series. Okay, Jim is back. You know what happened. You missed what I said. That's fine. You know where these series are at.
No.
What are your thoughts on these? Yeah, what do you think about these Major League Baseball playoffs?
I've been quite intrigued by it. Like, the New York is, of course, always the evil empire with the massive payroll and Taylor Swift in the stadium and that. But I've been to both stadiums. I've been to the old Yankee Stadium and the old Shea Stadium. And the crowds could not be more different between a Yankees crowd and a Mets crowd. And I always had a soft spot for the Mets because it's blue collar, fans tailgate in the parking lot. They're not fancy schmancy. It's more the hot dog and beer.
Oh, boy. And we lost Jim again. Is that his dog chewing on his cord or something? On his Wi-Fi cord? Well, listen, I'm with Jim I've watched more baseball this month of October, than probably hockey and football. Not combined, but more baseball altogether, and I've been just as intrigued. Interesting to note, ratings for baseball are up 18% from last year, and I'm kind of getting it now. The Texas-Arizona World Series, everybody thought was a dud, and it was. Texas won their first ever World Series, but nobody watched. So Yankees are lining up against either the Dodgers or Mets. It's a dream scenario for Major League Baseball. I'd kind of like to move on to the Canadian Football League. I'm wondering if we're going to get Jim back here or not. So you guys let me know. We're going to talk more baseball coming up in the next segment. Andy Nilo is going to be with us, a former professional baseball player, the founder of Alitura Skincare. We're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk Alitura and a lot of cool things coming up in the next segment. What do we got, guys? What's happening with Jim? He's trying to log back in, Tuna tells us. We have not had issues like this ever with Jim Clubberlag. I don't know what it is. If it's a Toronto thing, if it's an us thing. I will tell you, 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us here via text in the studio. David in Winnipeg with a question. He says, can Jim hit us with his top 5 NFL teams so far this early season? We'll get to that right away. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, man, that's frustrating. Just when it's getting interesting. Right? Built-in suspense and drama. Okay, yeah, well, listen. No. I'm going to wrap up with my CFL point. We're going to take a break, and we're going to bring Andy in after the break. We'll spend a little more time with Andy Nilo on the Major League Baseball playoffs, and we'll tell Jim, thank you for his efforts today. If he wants to come back an hour or two, we can. We have a long lineup of questions here, NFL related, for Canada's foremost NFL expert, Jim Lang, who's having some connection issues out of Toronto this week. CFL Week 8 wrapped up, the Canadian Football League. Here's the deal. The Toronto Argonauts clinched the playoff berth Friday night, winning in Winnipeg 14-11, snapped the Bombers' 8-game win streak. In a game of 2 non-playoff teams, Edmonton won in Calgary 23-18 at McMahon. Later that night, the Saskatchewan Roughriders clinched second in the CFL West, beating BC 39-8. And Montreal knocked off Ottawa 19-12 on Turkey Day Monday. Montreal Alouettes 19, Ottawa 12, denying Ottawa the chance to clinch second in the Eastern Division. We'll be talking a heck of a lot more about that coming back in hour 2 when we open it up with Viewer Takeover. Demetrius Maxi's on the way as well, the University of Texas El Paso grad. defensive line coach out of Toronto. He'll be with us in hour two. But Andy Nilo joins us next, and I can't wait, and you're going to love it too. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, streaming live on YouTube, of course, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The RP Show is brought to you by Seat Giant. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake. We've got it all. Use promo code RP Show for 15% off at checkout. Check us out now at seatgiant.ca. Well, it's a God shot. Andy Nilo joins us, our baseball analyst. We couldn't get Jim on to talk baseball connection issues. Gives us more time with you, Andy. Welcome to the RP Show, brother. How are you?
Hey, better now. Hey, it's so nice to meet you, Rod. How are you?
It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm 100%, man. 100%. I wish my smile could match that one of yours. But, Andy, before we get into the Major League Baseball playoffs and then talk about Alatero, would you mind telling our viewers and me a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
No, sure. Thank you. My name is Andy Nilo. I'm 42 years old. I'm originally from Northern California. Grew up obsessed with athletics in general, but focused in on baseball. I was a top 100 player coming out of high school, played with Adam Lowen. I'm not sure if you know those names early on. But yeah, graduated in 2000, went to UC Berkeley on a baseball scholarship. Played on 3 Division I teams in 4 years of eligibility. Had a draft party my junior year, wasn't drafted, lost my timing at the plate. They turned me into a pitcher my senior year, developed a circle change, and I was set to be our closer senior year at St. Mary's, West Coast Conference, partially toured the rotators. So I went from 91, 92 down to 84, 86, and I was getting banged around a little bit. And so long story short, wasn't drafted, moved down to Los Angeles, California, where my roommate was an actor auditioning for a baseball film called Great American Dream. And I was running lines with him going back and forth, and I was fresh out of baseball. So I wasn't, thinking about the script. When you're not overthinking things, you kind of nail, the lines in this case. And I was adding my own twist. And he's like, dude, you're pretty good at this. You ever thought about, taking a step into acting? And it was kind of cool that he brought it up, but I hadn't even dreamt about it. But he got me an audition without representation or a manager in LA. That never happens. It's a needle in a haystack role just to get called in based on the submission from your agent or manager. And I remember just getting in, like my first audition ever. I got a call back. Billy Snow's his name. We started laughing about it. Got another call back. Really started locking in. By this time, he was out of the running for the role, kind of coaching me. And I got a screen test, ended up booking that role as the lead in a feature film. And the director let me go off script, and I was fresh out of ball. So I was kind of just being me. The lead, the role was me in college, kind of. So I had so much fun. I shot for 6 weeks, got representation from that, and fell into the entertainment industry in under 6 months. Got my SAG card and just rode that out for a little bit. But that all came to a halt March 20, 2011. I was crossing the street and got hit by a westbound heading Land Rover, hit into the eastbound lane, run over by a Tundra, clothes cut off me in the middle of the street. And I woke up at Cedars-Sinai ICU with a compound fracture of my jaw, with my chin going through the bottom, like the middle of my mouth to beneath my left ear, 7 broken ribs, collapsed lung, just unrecognizable. And a very long story made short, that's where Alitura was born. I went around town kind of sharing this 4 clay-based facial treatment mask. I didn't have a name, definitely didn't plan on ever having a business around it, but I wanted to see if people kind of felt the same results as I was seeing. My abrasions were completely healed. My scarring obviously wasn't, but the swelling was mitigated from the microcirculation from the clays. And I just fell in love with scar healing naturally and finding natural elements that serve the skin. And I didn't want to leave the house, so I had a lot of time on my hands. People look you in the eyes and they immediately look down at my jaw, and I was missing my front 3 teeth. Jaw was wired shut. It was very humbling, and it was important to go through that. To reach a bottom and then build yourself back up with something that you create, and it's now helping others feel better about what they see in the mirror. I can't imagine doing anything else besides baseball. So this is an honor to be talking to you, and thank you for having me on.
Ooh, hell of a story. And it sounds like you found the secret that you can't appreciate the light without experiencing the dark, right? And you turned a tragic event into a positive. That's amazing, which we're going to come back around that in a second. So you're a baseball guy. I spent the summer working in minor league baseball, but I wouldn't put myself up in the knowledge of a guy like yourself. So I will say this. How much is the MLB drooling at this Yankees, Dodgers, or Mets World Series possibility out here? Man, what do you think they're thinking?
The Subway Series it's perfectly aligned right now. During the playoffs, it all comes down to pitching and consistency with that, and one person getting hot that you're not expecting to, in my opinion. So we're looking for, like, for instance, Josh Naylor. I believe he's due. I think he's hitting around 250 right now. Hasn't really caught the power in the plate, starting to drive in runs, and look for him and Jose Ramirez. Once they catch up, I think the Yankees, will have some trouble there. The Yankees are clicking on all cylinders. I believe that midseason acquisition of Jazz Chisholm just electrified the roster, and having somebody as versatile as Jazz, infield, outfield, as well as a personality, speed on the base paths, that game-changing speed, as well as somebody getting hot. It's going to be a very interesting series with on both sides.
Already is, but I'm dying to ask you this. We all thought pitching won in the playoffs, but now people are saying, no. It's the long ball. It's offense and home runs. Has that changed? Like, what do you think is going to get it done this time of year?
Well, that's a great point. The thing is, the Dodgers have a lot of hittable pitchers, in my opinion. Walker Buehler, not the same Walker Buehler as he was in 2018, 19. Flaherty, very hittable. Fastball pitcher. 94, 95, 96, but it's straight, in my opinion. You need a little movement, like Clase, a little cut to throw them off. Manea's got a little cut from the Mets. But if you're throwing, at this high-level game with the stakes on the line right now, if you're a fastball-based pitcher that can kind of miss over the middle, that's going to turn into a long ball game.
Well, Game 5 of the NLDS, Dodgers 2, Padres 0. I had my money on you, Darvish. So there's an example where pitching won. I'm not moving off pitching winning. And Aaron Judge hasn't done anything yet. Wait until he does. That's kind of how I'm looking at it with the Yankees.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you saw Rizzo last night, but he took a couple aggressive hacks at the plate. Looks like he's getting on time towards the baseball. And he's another guy off the bench. If he just ignites some of that spark that he had with the Chicago Cubs, I think that could be a game changer. But the Indians, Naylor, Ramirez, Clase's lights out. He's good for a 6-out save, in these times. So that's 2 innings right there. He, the Cleveland starters, I don't know. I think the Yankees really liking Luke Dreamweaver coming in lights out. He's got that momentum. He seems locked in and focused on the mound. Just that war cry after that last, so we'll have to see. But when you have pitchers delivering, pride. Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, no, I'm saying when you have pitchers delivering and getting that electricity passing the ball, you can feel it, like reliever to reliever, that like shutdown mode. Back to the Chapman days, Clase's got that. Do the Dodgers have that? Mets with Diaz, I really feel like closing that game out. Diaz with all that momentum, the unpredictability early on in the season, now getting that adrenaline going. I just really feel like, having a tightened up bullpen, the Dodgers not quite as developed in the momentum perspective. This is all momentum right now in this stage of the playoffs, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it's a fantastic Final Four. Well, Andy, we're already almost out of time. The reason you're here is not just to chat baseball, but also Elaterra. I'm so excited to bring you on board as the sponsor of our text line. As you see, it's been getting a workout throughout the program already. Man, maybe we should just talk about that and about the product again and how it's going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely. So Elaterra is Latin for feeding and nourishing. Your skin being your largest organ, it's important to treat it with ingredients that you can consume as close to food grade as possible. So when I was formulating my original product, that's what I paid attention to. I just would look on store shelves and every product had some type of hole, whether it was a toxic preservative or unnecessary filler or fragrance. You can source all of these components naturally. It just takes a little bit longer to get the emulsion down perfectly, but through bee products, through a collection of organic botanicals and plant-derived stem cells and nutrient-dense superfoods, based on the particle size, I think that helps regenerate your skin during the cell turnover process, feeding it live, nutrient-dense, antioxidant-rich ingredients to help just generate a thicker, more lively complexion, and staying consistent with that over time, not having to worry about toxins and toxic buildup over time. On average, there's a study that women leave the house with over 160 government-recognized carcinogens through 12 products. You're thinking makeup, deodorant, hairspray, perfume. I mean, something you're doing daily. It unfortunately does build up over time. So it's just important. It's fun for me too, because this was all theory. And it turns out now organic food versus organic food. That organic food with the pesticides, it becomes a part of that fruit or plant. Then you consume it. It gets into your bloodstream, something you're doing daily. Now they're pointing out, yes, that does matter, organic versus non-organic. I promise you it's the same thing with skincare and the synthetic ingredients that they allow on store shelves and the thousands of ingredients that they don't allow in Europe that they allow in the United States. Like, it's just everything. I believe it costs a little bit more, but we're not using the toxic preservatives. We're using a biophotonic glass that allows only the good violet light to enhance the life of our natural ingredients in the products. It limits the oxidation of our often raw organic botanicals and just enhances the life of natural products. That's what it originally was made for. So that's, every part that we can optimize 9 years ago would not change anything of my ingredient decks. It's just, there's a beautiful, in my opinion, beautiful movement, because a lot of people are looking for, clean products, and there are holes. Ours is as good as I can, physically and mentally make it. So I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be, man. And this has been awesome chatting baseball with you today. I want to say welcome to the team. Let's bring you on again at Chat World Series when that rolls around. And Aliterra.com is where people can find you. Andy, thanks for this, man. Enjoy the ball.
Oh, thank you so much, Rod. Very nice to meet you.
Andy Nilo from Aliterra Skincare, brand new partners of ours, and it's the Aliterra text line. Let's see what's happening on that when we come back, all right? We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, 99.1 FM, streaming live on YouTube and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Gonna get a quickie here, a sports update in and some comments from the audience. The guy from Penticton last week said Canadians don't care about baseball if the Blue Jays aren't in it. Come on. Troy in Toronto writes in, he says, I hope Naylor and Cleveland make it to the World Series. I have to cheer for the local kid from Mississauga. Plus, beating the Yankees is always a good thing. Dan in Regina writes in, he says, 4 Canadians play prominent roles for Cleveland, and they're playing against the hated Yankees. Go Guardians. Dun, dun, dun. Canadians don't care. Get out of here with that. Excited to bring Andy Nilo back on to talk a little more baseball. The guy is real. I know he was a model for Oakley, but guys like that don't intimidate me. He looks like every guy at Johnny O's. Sports update, Adam Dzeko's second goal of the game, scored on the power play at 14:35 of the third period, snapped a 4-4 deadlock and lifted the Edmonton Oil Kings to a 5-4 win over the visiting Vancouver Giants in WHL play on Turkey Day Monday. In Calgary, Eric Two stopped 31 shots and earned the shutout as the Calgary Hitmen defeated the visiting Prince George Cougars 5-0. And in Kelowna, Carter Kowalik's goal at 14:10 of the third period snapped a 5-5 tie and lifted the Kelowna Rockets to a wild 7-5 win over the visiting Prince Albert Raiders, my old team. For the latest 10 WHL things, go to rodpeterson.com right now. It's the second item running. Sports update is presented by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Joker. From acclaimed writer-director Todd Phillips comes Joker, Folie à Deux, the much-anticipated follow-up to 2019's Academy Award-winning Joker, which earned more than $1 billion at the global box office and remains the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time. In theaters now, Joker, Folie à Deux. By the way, Vintage Sasko, formerly known as Fake Gainer, wrote in, said, what's my favorite R-rated movie of all time? I had to think about it for about 2.5 seconds, and the answer is Slapshot. What's yours? What's your favorite R-rated movie of all time? We'll talk about that and whatever else you'd like to talk about coming back in hour 2 after this brief pause.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. the Create space at IKS.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Esteban and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
This former producer of major market television shows writing into us anonymously to say he just found our show on Game Plus Television. Here's some tips. The show has ADD. It's all over the place. Your sound effects are annoying. And your host is arrogant. Right on all counts. But that's what we want. That's what we wanted it to be.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
The boys can see me smiling before we rolled the gun on the air here. The guys never come back. Come on back. The guy that unsolicited, unasked, critiqued our program, and then he never came back. Hi, everybody. It's hour 2 of Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show. Coast to coast on Game Plus Television and airing in 31 U.S. states. You know what? It's a special treat for you because it's just me for 40 minutes. Okay. And as my guy, Chris Sanford, Chris from the Bronx down here says, you're like the Rush Limbaugh of sports. I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're so damn entertaining. That's what we're going to try to do here over the next 40 minutes until Demetrius Maxey joins us of the Toronto Argonauts. You're just going to have to bear with me because I'm going to be going back and forth between the sports news, tonight's schedule, the Alaterra Skincare text line, 902-518-3033. Brand new sponsor. Way to go, boys. Jay Red and Joe Broken, too. Alaterra Skincare. Check him out at alaterra.com. Andy Nilo, the founder and president, joined us last hour. He's a baseball guy, but he also founded this skincare product, and he's crushing it. And he's partnering with us. 902-518-3033. Can you please, Director Jordan, hit the quick six show horn? And for the myriad of people that joined us late, I'm going to recoup what we talked about an hour ago. Reset. Recap. I will just say this. As I was promoting Joker Folie à Deux at Landmark Cinemas, saying it was the original Joker from 2019 was the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Vintage Sasko wrote in and said, what's your favorite R-rated movie of all time? I said Slapshot. And I asked the audience near the end of hour one, what's your favorite R-rated movie? And we got some gooders. Bomber Boy in Calgary writes in and he says, Pulp Fiction. One which I don't think I've ever seen the full version of that. And I'm okay with that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, it's got to be Porky's. I'll tell you something. We were down in the Florida Keys on the weekend, and we came up with our list, Serena and my. By the way, do you like the photo of us that I've added to the set? Do you notice anything different here? I've double-wided the bookshelf behind me, or whatever you want to call this thing. We came up with our own list of the top 10 restaurants in the Florida Keys. And then she's like, well, just for spits and giggles, why don't you go look up on TripAdvisor what their top 10 list is? And there's a restaurant in the Florida Keys called Porky's. And I'm like, why have we not been there? Next time. Shy writes in, that's the guy's name. He says, Dirty Dancing or The Longest Yard. What is your favorite R-rated movie? Carlos in Indianapolis writes in and says, anyone else remember when Corey Mace was on the hot seat? That's the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Which, listen, don't get me. I did invite audience participation. So literally whatever you guys want to talk about. If you're down, I'm down. We'll get to that rider thing in a second. But I think I was the one that phrased around late August, early September that should Corey Mace be on the hot seat? Wasn't that the way that I phrased it? Somebody will find it. Wasn't saying that he was. I'm just saying, should he be? And everybody lost their ever-picking minds. Utah Darren writes in. He says, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Spicoli, dude. Vince writes in. He says, Animal House. Good grief, that's a lot of great movies. I'll be honest, if you want to take Slapshot out of the equation, because that's a given, I might say Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah. Why do they call you Booger? I don't know. Trying to stay on point. So the Quick Six show. Hit the horn again, please, Director Jordan. Hit the horn again. It's like these meditation things that I listen to. As soon as you hear the gong, bring your concentration back to the present. Breaking news on this Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are finally reunited after a year of speculation, and now they'll try to save the New York Jets' sinking season. The Jets agreed to terms Tuesday morning, to acquire the disgruntled Davante Adams from the Las Vegas Raiders. New York is sending a conditional third-round pick in next year's draft that could become a second-rounder, but is pending a physical for the wide receiver Davante Adams. We had Jim Lang with us 1 hour ago, Canada's foremost NFL expert, and he went into this. And number one, the Raiders are his favorite team. Everybody wants out of there. That is a tire fire. Darshan in Vancouver wrote in when I asked for viewer questions. Darshan said they've got problems in every other area. Why would they spend all this money to get a wide receiver? And then you got Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and basically they're 150-yard pass to Davante Adams, whoop, and you're out of trouble. I know that's oversimplifying things. A lot of things got to go right for that pass to be complete, but the point is you can flip the field pretty fast with that combo. I don't like it. That's all explaining or assuming that it's going to work. What I don't like is they're trying to replicate in New York what happened in Green Bay with Nathaniel Hackett, with Aaron Rodgers, with Davante Adams, with Alan Lazard, and copying somebody else just hasn't really proven to work anywhere. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signing Tom Brady and just bringing him in 1 year and winning the Super Bowl, that's an anomaly, an oddity, the exception that proves the rule. But we're just seeing again that the New York Jets are just a house of cards, which, by the way, this trade, although probably has been talked about for days, comes on the heels of last night. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills overcame a Hail Mary touchdown throw by Aaron Rodgers as the first half ended to beat the New York Jets 23-20. to take control of the NFL's AFC East. Josh Allen threw 2 touchdown passes and ran for another, and Taylor Bass made up for an earlier miss by kicking a go-ahead 22-yard field goal with 3:43 to go to help the Bills snap a 2-game skid. There you go, Joe Lozado. It really was the game of the week, and the Bills came out on top, which we thought they would. Now, we're still Canada after all. So we talked some hockey last hour. The Edmonton Oilers will look to pick up their first win of the NHL season tonight when they host the Philadelphia Flyers. The Oilers have been outscored 15-3 in 3 straight losses at home. Tuna Turner is our producer today. Tuna, do you have an update on the poll, on the YouTube poll of the poll question? Hang on, the poll question is, what should the panic level be for the 0-3 Oilers? Above average, average, or not at all? Who's leading? 49%. Thank you, Tuna Turner. You're doing a splendid job, by the way. 49% say not at all. The Oilers should not be concerned at all, should not be panicking at all. Concern, yeah. Panic, no. You got a sound effect for that, Tuna? You're doing an outstanding job. You got a sound effect? Throw one in just for fun. That'll work. Elsewhere tonight, the Vancouver Canucks visit the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Calgary Flames are home to the Chicago Blackhawks. And here on WSFL, South Florida, the Panthers visit the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Blue Jackets home opener in a night where they will honor Johnny Gaudreau. Prior to the game, it'll be a night of tributes to Gaudreau, the Blue Jacket star who was killed along with his brother Matthew by a suspected drunken driver in August. Special jerseys will be worn and fans will receive commemorative patches. As I think you would know by now, I was listening to NHL radio this morning. I do it every day. And Don Granato was on there, the former coach of the Buffalo Sabres. And he called this opening week, just a week of the NHL regular season, chaos. And it's a good term. I don't think he meant to be, sensationalizing anything. It has been. Winnipeg Jets 3-0, Flames 3-0, Dallas Stars 3-0, Vegas Golden Knights 3-0, 0-3, Oilers, Avalanche. It's been chaos. I ran 5 miles today indoors on the treadmill at Johnny O's because I ate a lot of turkey yesterday. Serena made sweet potatoes, garlic mashed potatoes, the whole thing. 2 Canadians living here in South Florida. Life is grand, but I had to run it off today. Feeling pretty good about it, I'm not going to lie. But the other thing is, I listened to the NFL coverage with Mike Florio. I listened to NHL radio, and I sit there and go, I wish there was a CFL channel that I could listen to. I would listen to it 24/7. I think you would too, but there isn't one. So I guess that'll be us. So now let's get into it, because that's what a lot of you came here for today. 902-518-3033, the Alaterra Skincare text line. Check them out at alaterra.com. I skimmed over this last hour, but I'm willing to spend the next, it's 1:11 Eastern. Squirrel. Got a sound effect for that, Tuna? 1:11? That'll work. The next. Visualize a positive outcome from your current quagmire. It works. We got Demetrius Maxey coming up later on in segment 3 of this hour. So here's what happened week 19 in the Canadian Football League. The Toronto Argonauts went into Winnipeg Friday night, as I predicted they would, and won 14-11. They sacked Zach Calero 7 times, snapped the Bombers' win streak at 8. There's a lot of different ways that you can look at this, and my heart just came at peace talking about the CFL, because to be honest, it's the thing I probably know the most. Zach Calero spitting fire after the game because he's an ornery bugger. But if you're them, better to lose now than the playoffs. What do you think? Saturday in the Toilet Bowl, presented by Mr. Plummer, the Edmonton Elkamos beat Calgary 23-18. Nobody cared. Saskatchewan Roughriders destroyed the BC Lions 39-8. Nathan Rourke was pulled in the fourth quarter. And I used to try and be the sensationalizistic guy, and it worked. Believe me, I don't really like to sensationalize things as much as I used to. My point is, in my weekend column, 10 things that I wrote yesterday, it's up at rodpeterson.com right now, I said the BC Lions have destroyed their own franchise, and they have. I don't know what to say about it. Riders clinched second. They can still finish first. They got to beat Calgary in their next and last game, and Winnipeg needs to lose to Montreal for Sask to get first. A lot of things still have to happen. Winnipeg is still in the driver's seat, and they will be motivated, obviously, to finish first. Saskatchewan will probably beat Calgary because everybody does. But more so on the BC Lions. Did you see the video that the Lions themselves posted? Eddie Steele directed our attention to this, the CFL analyst out of Edmonton. The Lions are jumping around, and Vernon Adams is the hype man, getting everybody. Vernon Adams, like, he's the backup. He's not playing. And standing outside that circle was Nathan Rourke, or this is how he does. It was, I'm going to say, it was almost sad. Here's VA rallying, hyping the team, and here's Nathan. It's just, I mean, I've never been in that locker room. I haven't been in that locker room. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. But what are they now since he returned? 2-6? Sorry. 3, probably 3-5. BC fans, help me out. Now, they're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. And this is the thing where if you're the owner, Amar Dolman, basically you got to wait to see how it all plays out. If you don't get to the Grey Cup, somebody needs to be fired. And here's the thing. I know all those guys personally. Neil McAvoy, co-GM. Rick Campbell, co-GM and head coach. VA, we had him in Saskatchewan. Tremendous guy. I don't know Nathan Rourke, but we've had him on this show. He's a great guy, too. And by the way, they didn't mean to destroy their own team. Nathan Rourke becomes available. What are you going to do? You're going to sign him. You're going to do everything you can to sign him. Sorry to say this is kind of on Nathan Rourke. Neil McAvoy and Rick Campbell didn't expect this. Nobody expected this. And don't tell me that the defense is bad. I've watched the games. He's not making the throws. He's making bad decisions. He's turning over the football. Again, they could still figure it out, but they're running out of time. Jeff, the Stamps fan, regarding, well, yeah, he makes a good point. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, let's hope the Stamps don't turn the ball over next Saturday. I really hope they can play spoiler. You know yourself, there ain't nothing the Calgary Stampeders would rather do than pee on the Rough Riders parade. It's like a national thing between the two markets. Kevin the Medium writes in and says, as VA himself tweeted, this is more than a quarterback issue. This is a team issue. It depends how you look at that. Yeah, I would say you're right. But I saw the tweet, too. Did VA basically say this quarterback thing is not an issue? Because I believe that it is. Pause, and we'll be right back. Smoke him if you got him. Yeah, we got a lot to get to. A lot to unearth. Demetrius Maxey coming up 2 segments from now. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, streaming live on YouTube, of course, and Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Sports fans, join veteran NHL coach Lauren Mulliken, Rough Riders great Bob Poley, curler Gil Dash, and me at the first ever Wolseley Celebrity Sports Dinner this Saturday night. A night of stories, laughs, and a great dinner benefiting the Wolseley Sportsplex. For tickets, email wolseley.arenaboard@gmail.com. I was just thinking this morning, I'm excited to get home and see all my friends, not just those on stage with me, but the people in the crowd. I have a tumultuous history with Wolseley. I have a tumultuous history with a lot of places, as it turns out. And it's very hard to leave South Florida. I'm going to tell you that. I love it so much. But to go back and do those sports dinners and raise funds for arenas like the Sportsplex, that's where it's at. That's what makes your heart warm. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Rod, if I had your talents, I would seriously consider trying a CFL channel, but I couldn't pull it off. I don't know about that, Jeff. I think you could. As John Frenzy used to say, just go on and talk. Really, John? Yeah, just go on and talk. You never know. But thank you for the kind words. And by the way, Kevin writes in, another Kevin, not Kevin the Medium. He says, I would take Nathan Rourke on my team. Yeah. And Kevin the Medium also says, has it been a tough start for Nathan Rourke? Hell yeah. He will return to his amazing self. I just hope it's this year that he puts it all together. Here's the thing. We don't have time. And when I say we, I mean as teams, we don't have time. You understand that, everybody, right? They're hosting a Grey Cup. They'd kind of like to be in it. So figure it out. And that's what the owners do. I'm not saying Amar Doman is doing that. I never worked for the guy. But I know a lot of owners that would. or presidents, if that's your thing. Which reminds me, by the way, something really nice has happened with the Rough Riders and me. Helped me out quite a bit, actually. So I don't know. Maybe the ice is melting. Wouldn't take very much from my side. But somebody wrote in here last week and compared my situation with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to Pete Rose in baseball. And while I don't see it, I guess that's the perception. I don't know. But let me just very quickly say this. Here in South Florida, I got a call last night from Darian Durant, the Hall of Fame quarterback, Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's moving, let's just say, to the area. And it would be And it would be a very easy thing for Darian Durant to come into this studio and do CFL shows with me on the reg and maybe get involved in the football scene around here too. So that's pretty exciting. (902-518-3033). Can someone get a hold of Nelson, our VP of Sim Events? Oh, and that is the Alaterra Skincare text line, by the way. We talked some great balls and strikes last hour with Andy Nilo, former baseball pro and the CEO and founder of Alaterra Skincare. The Alaterra text line, 902-518-3033. I said I would talk about whatever you want to talk about. And holy smokes, have we covered it all today. What else do you want to talk about? The YouTube chat's kind of being taken up by Kevin the Medium, Jeff the Stamps fan, and that's about it. Can we hear from some others? I think people missed the question earlier. Vintage Sasko wrote in before hour one. In honor of the movie Joker, the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time, Vintage Sasko wrote in and said, Rod, what's your favorite R-rated movie of all time? I said, it's Slapshot, and I don't even have to think about it. But if you take Slapshot out of the equation, it's very likely Revenge of the Nerds. Nerds! Allie writes in from Texarkana, and she says, I love The Expendables. I feel like that wasn't R-rated. Pretty sure it was not. Or was it? This is where I miss producer Clark, although Tuna Turner may be able to come to my rescue. I got mixed up here. The Expendables is the one with Sly Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, that probably is R-rated. What's the one with the kid rated R? What's the one that I'm thinking of? Not Expendables, where they've got the elastic, the really long, the Extendables? Is that what it is? You know, with the kid with the mask, the blonde kid dressed like Robin from Batman. Incredibles. Thank you, Tuna. Was that R-rated? Now we're getting into regular RP stuff. Goofy, not too serious. We're getting too serious there for a second, like all the other sports shows. James Warnicki writes in and says, Jaws, a classic, is my favorite R-rated movie. He goes, did I just age myself? Yeah, you probably did, but there's worse things you can do with yourself than that. Florida Keys on the weekend, there was a shark swimming around the waters where we were, and I was like, Serena just laughed. I'm like, am I the only one concerned? Brent writes in from Wellington, Florida. He says, I'm impressed you're rocking the Cowboys shirt after that showing on Sunday. Okay, well, thank you, Brent from Wellington, Florida. And I should add, 1 hour ago, Jim Lang was with us, Canada's foremost NFL expert. We talked about the Dallas Cowboys. And look, there's enough shows talking about the Dallas Cowboys today, believe me. But I kind of sat there and thought about it. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. There's certain things in my life that Serena has said recently. She's like, you're not upset like you used to be. I said, it's because I've detached. In the recovery world, we call it detaching with love. I still love the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm detached. I did watch a few plays of the game on Sunday. The worst home loss in the Jerry Jones era. 49-7 to the Detroit Lions. But I thought, what am I going to do? Switch teams? I don't like the fact that I don't really have a hockey team to cheer for. But you should probably know this. And as I've explained to Serena, when I grew up and my dad was working for hockey teams in the 80s, every 2 years he was working for a new team. Every 2 years I had a brand new wardrobe to cheer for. New team. Dallas Cowboys are like my only team. Rough Riders, I got paid by them. Regina Pats got paid by them. That's totally different. Dallas Cowboys are just a team that I'm a fan of, and that's all that I want. And by the way, with the gentleman writing in and saying, Rod, you should do a CFL channel or, it would be the easiest thing in the world to do, but I don't want to do that. I'm living in South Florida, covering the NHL for the South Florida Tribune, doing this wonderful show for you on Canadian television. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I don't want to do a CFL channel. This is it. Allie in Texarkana says, almost anything with Sylvester Stallone is R-rated except Rocky. And stop, or my mom will shoot. Have you watched Tulsa King? I love it so much. I really like Tulsa King a lot. With Sylvester Stallone, obviously, and Dana Delaney. Who was the guy in here earlier talking about aging himself because he was a fan of Jaws? Dana Delaney was one hot little number back in the day. Who remembers China Beach? Probably not you, Tuna? And definitely not Jordan. No, you will Google it. China Beach. And I'm not talking about the shooter. I'm talking about the movie. Dana Delaney. And Serena's like, I'm not 100. You should see the conversations on our couch. Regarding best R-rated movies, Mike in Winnipeg writes in, he is watching from Ice Time Sports, his sporting goods store in Winnipeg. He says, so good, Revenge of the Nerds. The Omega Moos can party. Those Moo girls sure can party. I knew, Mike, you and I see things very similar. Shy writes in and says, Saturday Night Fever. Look it up, Tuna. Can somebody get Nelson out of bed, our VP of Sim Events? We need to do our NHL breakaway bets, and I want to have somebody to play against. Tuna, you're a hockey guy, right? You're from Hamilton. You must be. You and I are going to play. You and I are going to play against each other. The audience can't hear you, but that's okay. I'll repeat your answer. You and I are going to play against each other. Tonight's NHL games, there are 3, 6, 9. Are you ready? Okay, the Florida Panthers visit the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm taking Florida to win the game. Who you got? He's taking Florida as well. The Vancouver Canucks are at the Tampa Bay Lightning. First home game since Hurricane Milton rolled through. I'll take the Bolts to win tonight. How about you, Tuna Turner? He's taking the Vancouver Canucks. The New Jersey Devils visit the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. I'll take the Canes. How about you? He is taking the Carolina Hurricanes at home, Alex. The 3-0 Vegas Golden Knights visit the Washington Capitals tonight. I'll take the Caps. I think the Golden Knights are... You do too? Okay, that's two of us. Minnesota Wild at the St. Louis Blues, a classic Norris Division clash there. Minnesota at St. Louis. I will take the Blues. You? He's taken many. Perfect. The Seattle Kraken at the Nashville Predators. The winless Nashville Predators, by the way. I'll take Nashville to win. How about you? You too? Okay. Oh, you don't think Seattle can win with a female coach? San Jose Sharks at the Dallas Stars. Who do you like? Oh, he's taking San Jose. Perfect. It's a big D for me, dog. Connor Bedard And the Chicago Blackhawks roll into Calgary to take a... I'm taking Chicago to win in Calgary tonight. How about you? You too? Oh, dirty. And the Philadelphia Flyers at the Edmonton Oilers. Who wins? The Streak wins tonight. Tuna Turner's taking the mighty Oil, and that makes two of us. Thanks for playing, Tuna Turner. Bragging rights are on the line. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes, and he says, I agree, Rod. Tulsa King is great. Basically, imagine Rocky, because Sly Stallone plays the same character in everything, or Rambo, moving into Tulsa and taking over the organized crime trade. Hilarity ensues. Shai writes in and he says, Oilers. I guess I'm playing against Allie. She says the Flyers will win. The Blackhawks will win. The Stars will win. Allie, thank you. She got the Preds to win. I feel like everybody thinks the Predators will win tonight. And all the Stamps fans are upset. Well, they should be. Kim writes in. She says, who could start a CFL channel? Kim in Calgary. I believe the window's closed. I think that Sirius satellite radio could have done it. I really do. 10, 15 years ago. I just don't think there's an appetite for it anymore. So therefore, you got to come here. It'll be a very heavy CFL show on Friday. There's been a lot of it today. And as a matter of fact, Demetrius Maxey joins us next from the playoff-bound Toronto Argonauts. We'll be right back, everybody. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, streaming live on YouTube, also Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Beautiful day in Boca Raton, Florida. Hey, sports fans, join the Rod Squad newsletter today. Stay ahead of the game with exclusive insights, updates, contests, and exclusive content delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up for free today at rodpedersen.com. Well, we're very pleased to welcome one of my oldest friends. Demetrius Maxey joins us from the playoff-bound Toronto Argonauts, the team that rung up, I think, 7 sacks in Winnipeg on Friday. D-Max, I was looking up your bio here. Man, I think of you as a young man. You're a year younger than me. You old, D-Max. You
I
old.
know.
You know that.
I'm going to keep getting old, too, but I enjoy being in Canada. Canada keep me fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, getting old is a gift. Not enough people realize that. Am I right in 7 sacks at Winnipeg Friday night? What went right for your crew up front?
You know what? Everything went right. It was the right play call. They had the right attitude to attack the play. The coverage was on point. Those guys, they were excited for an opportunity to put ourselves in a better position in order for us to get to the playoffs and have a home playoff game. So we got one more to go, and we just going to keep fighting because these boys are hungry.
Clearly, and what a season it's been. By the way, let me just back up for a second. D-Max is from Shreveport, Louisiana, played at UTEP. To be honest, I think I forgot that you were with the Baltimore Stallions way back in the day, and I'm going to get to that. But he's been in the CFL since '95. Baltimore, Montreal, Toronto, Riders, that's where he and I met and got to be close.
That's right.
Argos, Stampeders as a player, and then coached in Edmonton for quite a long time, and now you found yourself in Toronto, man. D-Max, and honestly, that seems like a real nice fit for you and that bunch, man. Just talk about yourself, if you don't mind, and why it's worked so well.
Well, you know what, just being around the right people and good people. Just having the opportunity to come to Canada. Canada saved me, and it made me enjoy and embrace the thing that I love the most, which is football, right? So when you meet good people and you enjoy doing what you're doing and you're in a great environment, I thrive off of that. So, that's what kept me going and ticking this entire time and want to continue to do this for as long as I can't do it no more.
You know what's funny about that? Is you played with the Argos 96 to 99. So when you were looking for an opportunity and they were looking for a D-line coach, I can't think it was too long of a conversation. Did pinball get involved in that, or how did it come to be that your old teammate, that you ended up back with the double blue?
And you know what? Pinball, great, heck of an organization. They, like I said, good people, right? My longtime friend, William Fields, was here. Kevin Ivan, we got Myron Lewis. So it's a number of people, and Dinwiddie, he been great. So it's just not one person or one thing because I was here. It's the number of good people that I met along the way. So and Penn, he's just a superb, and he's a gentleman, and he's classy at everything that he does. That's why he's been here for over 40 years, right? 35 years. So, it's a good fit for me. So I'm enjoying it.
Well, clearly, and listen, I got my mind buried in what the Riders are doing, and I knew Ottawa had to win yesterday to even have a chance at second. Where are you guys at? Do you know your playoff fate? I know you clinched Friday with a win at Winnipeg, but do you know where you finish yet?
We want to get the home field advantage. So Ottawa's going to come here to play so they could get home field advantage. Definitely, we have to show up to get a home field advantage. So if we win this game, we have a home field advantage for a playoff game. And Ottawa definitely be coming back to us again if that happened.
Okay. Well, stats will say, D-Max, historically in the CFL, home field doesn't matter that much in the playoffs. And lately in all leagues, it doesn't. How big of a believer are you in home field? I guess you are if you have it. And if you're on the road, you don't think. How big a thing do you think it is?
It doesn't matter. Just being a former athlete, an ex-athlete, I play better on the road because you're feeding off the energy that's coming from the crowd, right? So you have all that negative energy on you, and so you want to feed back that positive energy that you have, and you just play harder, I believe. But us being in this environment where we are, like I said, these boys are hungry, they're excited, and they're enthusiastic about this opportunity of having, because we got a lot of young players on this team, especially on our defense. So they're excited for this opportunity to possibly have a playoff game at home. And a lot of them never played in the playoff game coming from these other small universities, and this is going to be a big, good environment for that game.
Okay, I see it here. You got it. Saturday, Ottawa, Toronto. You're a point up with 2 games to go. So it's kind of nice to be playing meaningful games. And you're a football guy. You're going to say they're all meaningful, Rod. Well, some more than others. What?
They you know what? They are all meaningful, but this means a lot. You know what I mean? So we have to be ready for this game. They beat us the first time around, right? So now this is a payback and an opportunity to have a home field advantage. So this is definitely a meaningful game more than the other ones right now.
Right. Well, listen, you'll win this one, or you'll play this one. I'm assuming you're going to win it, and then you got next week you can rest guys or whatever. But it is kind of all on this game. Now, you mentioned the young guys on your defensive side of the ball in Toronto, but come on, D-Max, you must get down on your knees and kiss the ground that you got Jake Ceresna there and Arimolade there. You got some dogs on the D-line, man. Talk about the talent you got there.
Well, you know what? The good thing about these guys is that they always learning. They always listening. So whatever type of tutelage we give them, they feed off of it. They take it all in, and they want to be great. So these dudes, you wouldn't think that, like the names what you just said, you wouldn't think that they've been in the league for a minute and done the things that they have done already because of the way how strong they are, how strong they focus is and laser focused they are as far as when we trying to explain a defense to them and how we need to play it. So they want to learn, they want to listen, they want to be perfect, they want to affect the game, and by doing that, that's why we're in the position that we are. They're not selfish, right? They selfish as far as trying to be perfect all the time, but they listen for the most part to the things that we need them to get done.
Stop the presses. Arlen Bruce III is watching. He writes in and says, "Great morning, RP. Mr. Maxey could definitely be a general manager in this league." Is that something you aspire to, D-Max?
I'm open for anything. You know what I mean? And Arlen, that's my guy. We met in San Fran, and we've been buddies for a long time, and I respect that guy. He was a hell of a football player, and he's a great man. So I appreciate him. But as far as me, yeah, I respect that dude a lot. But I wouldn't mind being a head coach or a GM, whatever comes my way. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing right now. Like I said, at this moment in time, I'm around some good people, and I enjoy it. Somebody throw something out at me, I'm gonna definitely jump on it. But right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Going after another Grey Cup, which would be your 4th. By the way, AB watches this show every day, and we appreciate him for that. Let me just ask you just a little bit of an off-the-board question. How much different is the Toronto organization now as to when you played? I bet it seems to me almost unrecognizable, but I never played or worked there. What's it like for you, D-Max?
For me, is the people, the amount of people that Toronto have attracted to this city. You know, I can't see Rogers Stadium no more. You know, we played in Rogers Stadium. I never played in this stadium, BMO Field, right? So just the city of Toronto has expanded tremendously. So that I believe that's the difference. The energy in the building is still the same. You know, the will and the want to is still the same. When you enter this building, you want to be here. You want to be a winner. So that energy is still here. And, you know, Pinball is a big say-so in that. He's been here forever. So if you got a guy like that been here 35 years, he must have been doing something right.
D-Max, you're just singing music to my ears because as you said that, I was like, it starts at the top, always. And
That's
who's
right.
at the top? Pinball. So you guys are charging into the playoffs. I'm excited for you. D-Max, thanks for the time. It's always good seeing you, my man. And good luck the rest of the way. I look forward to when we can chat again soon.
Thank you, brother. I'm jealous of you right now because you're in Florida. Enjoy
I love
those
every
beaches,
single
man.
second of it. Trust me, I do. Thank you, D-Mac. Trust me.
Thanks,
As he
all
said,
right.
enjoy where you're at. I'm doing the exact same thing here. And the ballers are really enjoying this show, too. We'll talk about that more when we come back for overtime, everybody. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, streaming live on YouTube, and, of course, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Welcome to the Create Space at IKS Media. Meetings, podcasts, studio. Whether you're here to collaborate or educate, our versatile meeting places, workspaces, and studios await. Your next big idea starts here. Make our space your space. The Create Space at IKS.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, it's time for overtime. Hockey teams, are you looking for just the right place for your team bonding sessions and outings? Look no further than Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. With state-of-the-art equipment, spacious shooting lanes, and games for all ages, Overtime Hockey Lanes is the perfect destination to build teams, whether you're from the Calgary area or if you're on a road trip from out of town. Book your lanes today, 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Well, let me just dip in for a second on the Alaterra Skincare text line, 902-518-3033. Very excited to welcome Alaterra Skincare to the RP Show and have the founder and CEO, Andy Nilo, on with us last hour. Kirk in Toronto is watching on Game Plus TV, and he says, "Hey, Rod, the veins bleed double blue. Thanks for the interview with Mr. Maxey." Well, thank you to our business manager, Joe Guinness. He's the one who lined that up. He's very active with the CFL Alumni Association. And thank you to the Argos for helping out with it, too. Allie in Sherwood Park, Alberta. She writes in, she says, "Best potential CFL news is having doubles on discussing on a regular basis with you. Awesome. Have a great week." I'm caught somewhere between not wanting to jinx it and putting it out there into the universe. I had a nice chat on the phone last night. Darian Durant called me. He's moving to this area. And I'll be honest with you, we literally are only going to live blocks apart. So I don't want to ask him for too much too soon. But we have this nice, spacious studio here that we've built. And it would be fun, I think, to bring him in for CFL shows. We could do college football. He's a North Carolina great. We could do a lot of things with doubles here in South Florida. I don't ever really want to leave. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, "I don't know about skin care. I know my face needs more crack filler than a newly dry-walled house." Well, maybe it's preventative, you know? Sports update on this Tuesday. The New York Jets have agreed to terms to acquire disgruntled wide receiver Devontae Adams from the Las Vegas Raiders, reuniting him with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The Jets are sending a conditional third-round pick in next year's draft that could become a second-rounder, but it's pending a physical. NFL Network was the first to report the trade. If you are watching on YouTube, just rewind way back to the start. And we opened the show with that with Jim Lang, Canada's foremost NFL expert. And a lot of other NFL things we talked about with him. Plus, we talked about some Leafs. Russell Wilson's time may be fast approaching in Pittsburgh. Coach Mike Tomlin said today that Wilson is in consideration to be the starting quarterback when the 4-2 Steelers host the 2-4 New York Giants Sunday night. The 35-year-old nine-time Pro Bowler has spent the past 6 weeks recovering from a calf injury he aggravated a couple of days before the season opener. And baseball, the Yankees up 1-0 in the ALCS against the Cleveland Guardians. Send ace Garrett Cole to the mound tonight for Game 2. The Guardians will counter with rookie righty Tanner Bybee. The Yankees won the series opener 5-2 Monday. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas, as always. Get more of what you love with the Landmark Extras Rewards program. Free movies and concession items, invites to exclusive screenings, special events, and more. Check out landmarkcinemas.com to register for free today. Also brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Connect with thought leaders and industry experts through EMJ Marketing Speakers Bureau. Check out their roster at emjmarketing.com. Again, you're going to hold a fundraiser, corporate event. You need a speaker. I'm on that roster. Jim Barker's on that roster. Stu Grimson's on that roster. Darian Durant, Henry Burris. It's a long list. Just go check it out. Been a fun day, hasn't it? Great job today, Tuna. Have I told you that? I haven't told you that enough. Great job, Tuna. Can you... Nah, he never gets tired of hearing it. Can you play a sound effect? That'll work, too. I have almost no idea what's coming up tomorrow, but I do think Jersey Jim Behringer is going to be joining us from NHL Full Press. Thank you. Tuna Turner has confirmed Jersey Jim will be with us next hour. So, back to that football stuff. It's just the wildest thing. As you've noticed, and my U.S. friends have noticed too, I've gone to great lengths to separate the content. This show, NHL, CFL, and my U.S. interests, South Florida Tribune, Cats and Bolts podcast, keeping it separate. Don't matter. The local football team wants to put a helmet on my shelf. So we're going to be getting that soon. We got a sports bar, wants us to broadcast live from there. I'm like, just got this great new studio, and now you want us to bring it. Okay, not arguing, but we're going to need to talk about it. Allie in Texarkana says, great job, Tuna. Allie, thank you. Go Stars tonight against the Sharks. That should be a fun game. I don't even know what's the game of the night. I feel like it's probably in Alberta, whether it's the Flames or the Oilers. Okay.
Who has more fun than us?